This conference will now be recorded.
So we have a database server and we have an application server. The application server interact with the database server. So this database server kept in a one location. Application servers can be placed in another location. Now the users, the users, the users means it could be an end user, it could be a functional consultant, or it could be developer. Okay, anyone. The users access SAP server from their systems, client systems. We call them as a client systems. All these are the client systems. So this is a presentation layer. Layer means the client systems. Okay, be it a functional consultant or a developer or the users, all access the application server and the data, using their own systems. So on the system, the IP address of the application server is mapped. So we will be able to access application server. Okay, the IP address of the application server is mapped. So we'll be able to access the application server. So if you see the logon pad, these are the three different servers, and I'm working for three different clients. Okay, each client has their own server. So I mapped that server details here. Application server details. Clear? So the point for the today's session is we need to understand the concept of client. Client here is not a customer. When I say client, it is a different word. It is a data unit within the server. Independent data unit. Data unit. It is an independent data unit within the server. Used to store a customer specific configurations. Okay, customer specific configurations for all modules and all countries. One client will be enough. So to compare it, to explain it easily, see, look at this. Assume this is a server. Okay, assume this is the server. In this server, we have a folders. We have a folders. Why do we create folders?
To segregate data based on our requirement.
Okay, so suppose I have a Word document, guys. So using these folders, what we can do is we can keep, personal files in one folder, photos in one folder, video files in one folder. Okay, so you can use this folder for different type of data. That is one thing. Second thing, can I uh, have a same document? Can I have a Word document with the same name, with the same file type, stored in the same folder?
No,
No, right? I cannot keep the same document, different version in the same folder. Okay, with the same file type, with the same file name. So what we have to do? We have to at least change the name of the file, right? Then only possible. So if I want to keep the same document as it is, then I create one more folder. If I create a one more folder for it, can I save it or not?
Yes.
Right? So this clients, yes. So this clients concept is used for different purposes. The advantage of this clients, the concept of the client. One is different version of the configuration. Okay, in the client. So different versions. See, for example, I have done my changes. I have designed the solution. I want to test it. I want to test it quality. So I don't want to do this testing by entering a dummy data in the same client. What I would do? See, it's like an Excel sheet. Excel sheet, you designed a formula. Okay, and I don't want to enter the dummy data into the original Excel sheet. I designed the formulas, but I want to test it. What I would do? I can take the copy of Excel sheet,
Yes.
okay, and I test with the dummy data into that Excel sheet, right? So similarly, when I configure the original solution in one client and I want to test it. I transport that to the another client in the same server to the another client. It's like another folder in the same server, and I can test it there. So I can have a different version of the same solutions, okay, in different clients. This is one way. This is one way. Okay. So the other point is there is a company. There is a company called ADP. Okay. There is a company called Northgate Arinso. These companies, their main business is that they handle the payrolls of different customers. They handle the payrolls of different customers. See, these other companies, the payroll is a complex process. They don't want to handle the payroll for their employees. They outsource the payroll processing, this HR outsourcing, to the other companies who are experts in handling the payroll. So the ADP has 100 customers. Okay, ADP is processing the 100 companies payroll. Assume ADP is processing like Citibank payroll, Sun Microsystems payroll, Redis Lab payroll, and we have a MRF Tires payroll like this. So they get the money by processing the payrolls. Okay. So ADP has to use how many servers? Does ADP need to buy 100 servers?
No, sir.
So that's what the point is. So ADP does not require to buy 100 servers. Okay. See what happens is it creates 100 clients. It creates 100 clients in the same server. It creates 100 clients in the same server. Okay. Each client they dedicate to one customer. Each client they dedicate to one customer. So in each client, they configure that customer specific policies and the procedures and the data. Okay. So they are using the same application server, same database for 100 customers. How is it possible? By dividing the database into 100 clients. By dividing the database into 100 clients, guys. Okay. So look at this. When I select, ignore this, I'll show you this later. Yeah. So when I go to the login and when I select this server, What is that it is asking me first? Which client are you logging in? Folder. Okay. See, in a C drive or a D drive, when I create folders, I can grant the permission accordingly, right? If I want to restrict someone to access some folder, I can restrict it. Is it possible or not? If someone is
Yes, sir.
accessing one folder, I can get an error message generated. You are not authorized to access this folder.
Yes, sir.
Similarly,
We can.
I can create multiple clients in the same server, and each client I can dedicate to one customer, irrespective of the number of countries they have, irrespective of the number of modules they have. Each client I can dedicate to one customer. So 800 to one, 810 to one, 820 to another client, another customer. So when I say client, don't think this as a customer. Technically, it is a data unit within the server. A data unit within the server. So how it works in the background, observe this. Each client, yeah, can be dedicated. Each client can be dedicated to one customer, irrespective of number of modules and number of countries. So let's take this into a different screen. Now look at this. I'm drawing it again. This is my database. Okay, this is my database. This is my application server. And this is my presentation screen. Okay, presentation screen. Client systems. This is application system. Application server. This is a database. Suppose if I create 3 clients, okay, I want to process the payroll of 3 customers. What I would do is I'll create 3 clients. Client 100, client 100, client 110, client 120. A client is a 3-digit numeric code. Your client can be identified with a 3-digit numeric code, guys. 3-digit numeric code. So this is a 100 client. This is 110 client. This is 120 client. So what I would do is I'll dedicate this for the Citibank employees. This I dedicate this client to MRF tires. I dedicate this client to the Redis lab. Okay. Now observe this. These applications are cross-client applications. Okay, cross-client applications. See, for example, in the same example, you go to any folder. All Microsoft commands are same. Control C, Control V, Control X. Yes or no? You go to any folder, the commands, Microsoft commands are same or not?
Yes, sir.
Same. Same,
It's
sir.
just the data. It's just the data that is different, right? So similarly, all SAP applications are a cross-client applications. Okay. So this client process the data. I mean, this these applications process the data from the clients, okay, and perform a calculations. Clear? So we are not saving the data here. These are like a formulas. These are like formulas. I'll show you more detail in the next screen. So observe this. I have an employee number 1 here and employee number 2 here. Employee number 3. I hired employees here in 100. In MRF tires also I have employee number 1, employee number 2, employee number 3. In Reddy's lab also I have employees. Okay. In Reddy's lab also I have employees. Employee number 1, employee number 2, employee number 3. They have their own employees. Employee number 3. Where is this data stored? Ultimately, when they hire an employee in a presentation screen, this data is processed by the application server, and store it in the backend database table. So there is a table where employee data is stored. Okay, but how does the system store the employee data? I have employee number 1 here and employee number 1 here and employee number 1 here. These three are three different companies' employees. Okay, these three are three different companies' employees. So can employee number be repeated?
Yes.
Is the employee ID unique or it can be repeated but to multiple employees?
Unique, sir. It's unique.
It's a unique.
Yes, on the client.
It's a unique. But how does the system store three different, three different
100
employees? Employee 1 and employee 1 and employee 1 here in the same table. Okay, so
But
your
we are
voice is
storing
not
in the
clear.
client ID, right?
You keep yourself in mute, okay, unless I give you the time, because there is some noise from your background, guys. See, when this data is saved in the database table, the first column of this database table is a client number. Okay, it is a client ID, and the second column is an employee ID, and the third column is an employee name. So when I hire an employee in the Redis in the Citibank customer, it is stored in the database with its client ID. Okay, with its client ID. Employee number 2, employee number 3, like this. When I hire an employee in MRF tires, the application server, there is a program, right, that is executed here. This program will see, okay, this data is coming from which client? 110 client. The data is coming from 110 client. So it goes to the same table, update the data with the 110 as a prefix. Okay, so in this way, all the clients are using the same applications. All the clients are using the same database. But when it comes to the front end, these three are three different units. When you log in into Citibank, you cannot access the data of 110 client, data of 120 client. When you log in into 100 client, 110 client, you cannot access the data of 100, 120. Why? For example, there is a button here, get me the employees list. Get me the employees list who are hired in this current year. The user from this client clicked on this button. Then the background program is executed. Okay, So the user needs the employee list who are hired in the current year. And this program will see the request is coming from which client? The request is coming from which client? It is coming from
110 client.
So it goes to the database table. It reads the data maintained with the 110 as a prefix. It cannot read the data of 100 and 120. So in this way, the data is secured. Clear? So the companies like ADP or Northgate Arenzo, they do not have to buy a separate server for each client. They create a one server and they create a different clients in the server, and each client they dedicate to one customer. Suppose if MRF tires have operations in 10 countries, all 10 countries can be implemented in the same 110 client. 110 client. Clear? Okay. So application server is just like a formula. See, it works like this. You can take the screenshot now. So let me send you the screenshot into the group. It's not clear, it seems. Look at this. I'll show you the same thing in a different way to keep it more simple. So this is the database. This is the application server. And this is the presentation screen. So we have a client 100, client 110, client 120. Okay. So now SAP has created a screen. Okay. For SAP, application means what? An application. A minute, guys. Hello. Hello. Apparam. Okay. So here SAP has designed a screen. SAP application. Any application means what, guys? Applications means what? General terminology. From the user perspective, tell me, application means what?
Processing center, data processing center. Data processing.
It's like software, sir.
Okay. You don't see program, right? It is a software, of course, but you don't see program when you are a user. What do you see when you are using a software?
User interface.
User
Presentation layer.
interface. So the user interface contains what?
Comments like
Buttons, tables to enter the data, tables to enter the data, screens, reports, forms, right? And screens, it can be a screen or any user icons, right? So the user see the tables or the screens or the reports or the forms, okay, the user icons. This is what they see. So assume SAP has designed a screen in the background for SAP. I mean, in the background, everything is a program for the developer. For the front end, these are the tables, guys, right? For the front end, these are tables, are the screens, are the reports, are the forms, are the user icons. But a back end, everything is a, for the developer, everything is what? A table is a program, right? Yes or no? A table is a program. A screen is a program. A report is a program. A form is a program. For the developer perspective, it is a program. Everything is a program. Every object is a program. Agreed? Which we don't see. What we see in the front end is a table or a screens or the fields or the forms, icons, etc. Right? Right? Report logs, etc. But when you are accessing them, what is executed in the background? It is programs. Right? So here, let's say SAP has created an application, a screen. Assume SAP has created an application. Okay, a screen maybe. So they write a program. In that program, they design a screen, a program screen. So they designed a screen here. So this screen, let's say field A, field B, field C. Okay, there is a field C. Field A value, they designed this is the numeric value. This is a numeric value. This is a numeric value. This is also a numeric value. Okay, and they give a button. They give a buttons here. Button add. Okay, or product. It's like a calculator. Consider this is a calculator. So there is a button here, add. There is a button here, multiply. So they give a screen. Okay. When they design the screen, the same screen appear in all the clients. Yes or no? In the client 100,
Yes, sir.
it appears the same screen. It appears the same screen here. It appears the same screen here. So they also write program here. Rashekar, there is a lot of noise from your side. Just keep yourself in mute for some time. Okay. So there is a program they have written here. I write the program. I mean, developer writes a program here. A program is program like this. If the user click on add, then the formula is what? This is a very generic topic, not SAP topic. Very generic.
It will sum off.
Take the A value.
It will do the sum.
Okay. If the user click on multiply, then C equal to A into B. The program also written here. Let's say the program also written here. Okay. Now what happens is, look at this. The user does not know about all these programs, how this is written, okay, in the backend. So for the user, the screen look like this. Why I'm grading out? Any idea? Why I'm not graying out A and B field? Why I'm graying out the C field? Any reason?
Because it is a formula, so user cannot modify it.
Yes. So in other words, we can call it as a, okay, this is only a output field, right? Because it is the output that is automatically generated. It is the output that is automatically generated, right? And these two are what? These two are configured in the background as a, I'll put it here.
Inputs.
These two are configured as a user inputs. That's why these are editable fields for the user. Whereas the C field is not editable field. So user touch how many fields here? Anyone?
Four, sir. A and B, add and multiply.
Add and multiply cannot be at a time, right? A
No,
and
no.
B either add. A and
Yes.
B either add or multiply. So 3 fields he need to click on. So the Redis lab client logged in here, or a Citibank 100 client, he logged in here. Okay, he entered a value 10. He entered a B value 20. He clicked on add. When he clicked on add, automatically this is read by this program. Okay, he clicked on add. Then apply this formula C equal to A plus B. Then present the data in the C field. Okay, on the same screen we have a save button given. Assume there is a the save button given. He clicks on save. When he clicks on save, then in the program there is a again code written. When the user clicks on save, send it to the database. It will be sent to the database. Okay, it will send to the database. What fields are stored? Client, A value, B value, and C value. Client 100, and also addition. There is one more field we can add in the same table. Add. Now, when the user from MRF tags or now the user from Citibank MRF tags, he logged in into 110 client. Logged in into 110 client. Okay, so he enters the data and he click on multiply. Then the system shows 50 here. So when he click on multiply, this is read by the same program. Okay, and performs a calculation. It presents the data here, and when he clicks on the save button here, when he clicks on the save button here, where is the data stored? In the same table. This is how it is stored. It is coming from 110. Okay, A value given 5, B value given 10, C value given 50, and then multiply. So this is how, when I say the applications are cross-client applications, okay, the client is customer dependent. Clear? All the clients we are using the same applications. What we are entering in the client is a customer specific data. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you are using the same Microsoft applications in all the folders. This commands does not hold any data. This commands process the data. So SAP applications process the data that is entered at a client level. that is entered at a client level. So now you are hired by ADP company. You are hired by ADP company. All the 3 clients will not be given to you. Okay, ADP asks you, you support the issues of Citibank. That means which client do you need to access in the server?
100.
100, sir.
100. So you need to get a user ID password for this 100 client. Okay. When someone is joined in ADP, for him, the ADP gives him both. He's a senior. He's a senior. Okay. So he needs to support both the customers, Redis Lab and MRF ties. So he will have access to client 110. So in 110 there is a user ID and password. 120. There is a separate user ID and password. So the point is, user data is a client specific or a cross client? User data, customer data, and the user data, both are client independent or client dependent?
Client
Independent, sir.
dependent.
Both are client dependent. The customer data and the user data both are client dependent data. So the user credential are client specific. So this is how one server is, guys. Be it a development server, or it may be a production server or a quality server. Each server is further divided into the clients. Is that point understood, all of you? Application data is independent.
Independent.
Okay, who work on application data? Who work on applications data?
Developer.
So anything that is worked by developer, ABAPer, is a cross client application. Every ABAP program is a cross client programs. So the ABAPer create the objects. The ABAPer creates these objects using a programs. And the customer data and client specific data accessed by who? Users and functional consultants.
Function.
The users and functional consultants. And who will create these clients and the servers and the databases? Who maintains it?
Basis
team.
team. Basis team.
So SAP, it is a SAP basis team responsibility to create the server. Okay, so to maintain the database, okay, maintain the application server, maintaining a database, okay, giving access to the users. All this is a basis team role, like SAP installation, operating system installation in every server, database upgrades, user administration, network is there like a hardware and networking guys, and security. All these are taken care by SAP basis. Okay, so this is what SAP server is. Any questions in this?
No, sir. Sir, one question. Sorry, sir. In the application server, the developer or the consultant able to see that presentation layer as well, sir.
No, application servers are not directly accessed by anyone. Okay,
Okay.
everyone, even a developer or a end user or a functional consultant, they access through the presentation layer only.
Oh,
Nobody
okay.
has access to the application server. We connect the application server using the UIs.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Thank you, sir.
Okay, yeah, everyone has to access, be it a developer or a functional consultant or a user, everyone has to access the application server through the presentation layers only. So where is that data stored is important. When the developer enters something, it is stored in where? When the developer uses this
In
screen,
database.
it is stored in application layer.
Okay.
They can also
So,
create database tables using applications. Tables in a database they can create using applications. When the user and presentation, I mean user and consultant work on any data, it is a data of the client data. Okay, so this is a client data. This data is processed by applications. There is a difference between this. What developers do is a design of applications. Yes or no? Design of applications. And the data entered by the user and functional consultant is processed by the applications. Got the difference?
yes, sir.
Okay. Because we are not writing any programs. We enter the data and we use the user interface icons. In the background, the applications process this data accordingly. Okay, from the database to the presentation to the database through the applications. So anything that is done by the developer is a design of the applications or enhancing the applications. Okay, that is at a cross client level. So if they create a program or a screen here, the same screen appears in 100, appears in 110, appears in 120. So listen to this. See, this is just a theory. Once you start working on practical sessions, you will understand 100%. If you understand at least 50%, that is fine. Okay, so once we start working on the screens, you will see the client means what. Okay, we will never see the application server. We will never see. Nobody sees the application server. Nobody sees the database server, guys. We don't directly access them. We are accessing the application server through the presentation system. So this is the interface. What you see on your system is a user interface. So you give a client number. Which client data are you accessing? User ID and password. Suppose if I give something that doesn't exist, what does it say? This ID and password is not created in this client. This ID and password incorrect, or this ID maybe if ID is created or not. It says, okay. So the user ID Our password may not be created in this 800 client, or the password may be incorrect, or the user data may be incorrect. Clear? But if I give right user ID and password, logged or what? I'm able to access it. I'll show you this logon and all, okay, in the next class. So for now, be clear about this understanding one server. So tomorrow we will see landscape system.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
Any questions before I close? Okay. Catch you tomorrow.
Thank you.